Hello and welcome to the Hindus special live on the vice presidential polls. Yesterday, if you were with us on the YouTube channel, you must have seen my colleague Sandeep Fukan and our colleague from Ravi Reddy ji, who, s- who spoke about the opposition's vice presidential nominee. And today we have our political editor, Nistula Hebbar, with us to discuss the NDA vice presidential candidate and most likely the next vice president of India and Rajya Sabha chairman C.P. Radhakrishnan. C.P. Radhakrishnan on Wednesday filed his nomination papers for the vice presidential elections in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The other senior ministers were also present. He has also received endorsement from the NDA allies. Um, I hope we have Nistula with us. Hi, Nistula.
Hi, Shobna. Good to see you.
So, Nistula, let's begin with the very, very basic question. In the corridors of Parliament, the buzz is that the government does not seem to have any more surprises up its sleeve because there were speculation before the candidate his name was announced that it is going to be one of the two governors. It is going to be and it is going to be somebody who is deeply steeped in the Sangh values. So, do tell us what were the reasons and motivation behind picking C.P. Radhakrishnan.
Well, C.P. Radhakrishnan actually checks every box of eligibility that suddenly popped up after the surprise resignation midterm of Mr. Jagdeep Thankar, our former vice president. It happened right at the beginning on the first day of the parliamentary session, if you recall. Very surprise act of resignation. Of course, we all knew that there were differences between him and the government, but that has never stopped a person holding a constitutional position from completing their term. I mean, if you remember during former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's tenure, of course, it's his birthday today, but remembering his tenure, his relationship with President Zail Singh was not at all good, but Zail Singh managed to finish his term as well. And it was a far more serious sort of disagreement between them. So nobody expected that the term will not be completed. There was a thing that, as they say in Hindi, rote padte, they would have completed their term. This Mr. Dhankar would have completed his term. But something happened on that day, which we have reported extensively and I've done an episode of Talking Politics as well on that. And that kind of led to this state of affairs. So when this happened, there was a stock taking, of course, by the government and managers of the government. They wanted to know why this happened, how this happened. Now, Mr. Dhankar basically was a kind of a political tourist to the BJP. He was not a dyed in the wool Sangh Parivar acolyte. He started his political career alongside as a disciple of former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar. In fact, he was part of his government when Chandrasekhar ji was Prime Minister for a very brief while. Then he was an MLA from a Congress ticket from Rajasthan, and then he got friendly with some people in the BJP government. He's a lawyer, Supreme Court lawyer, very highly regarded one. And then he had become friends with some people in the BJP who felt that his grasp of legal issues, etc., was strong and that he was some talent that could be of use to the BJP. Then he was sent to the Raj Bhavan in Kolkata. And he did take up cudgels on behalf of the central government against the state government on certain issues. He did raise some very strong objections, which in a way did serve the political purpose of the BJP. So they felt, okay, he's a good candidate to have as vice president, because one of the jobs of the vice president of India is to run the Rajya Sabha as well. That didn't work out very well. As I said, we've spoken about it ad nauseum. And it was felt that this time, because not just did Mr. Dhankar have problems with the opposition while running the House, he also had some issues with the government itself. There were some protocol issues. There were some issues with regard to what he felt was his due as vice president, and what the government felt should be done for him as per protocol, etc. So the government said, okay, we don't want somebody like that again. The BJP felt that they needed their own dyed-in-the-wool person from the BJP tradition and, of course, the Sangh tradition, because most of the BJP leaders are from the RSS itself, including Prime Minister Modi. And there is, of course, a little diversion to this narrative as well. The BJP and the RSS are going through a tug of war with regard to who should be the national president of the BJP. So this was a kind of an offering also. Mr. Radhakrishnan's uh, candidature is also being seen as an offering from the BJP to the RSS that, look, we may have organizational issues, but we have no ideological problems between the two of us. He's our man, he is your man, and we must. And he's a good fit for this position. He's a sitting governor. He's been a governor of various other states, including Jharkhand, and then later Maharashtra. So he should be a good fit. So as I said, uh, Mr. Radhakrishnan checks all the boxes. He's been a member of the RSS since the age of 16, and he
Yeah.
joined the Jansangh, which predated the current BJP. The current BJP was only formed in 1980 after the Jansangh walked out of the Janata Party. So he was actually with the earlier avatar of the BJP, and he has worked for the Sangh, and he had held organizational positions within the Sangh in Tamil Nadu, Tirupur. Tamil Nadu is not a good political or a comfortable political landscape for anybody from the RSS. Or the Hindutva sort of ideological this thing. It is the land of the Dravidian ideologies, and they have been hegemonic there for decades now, and therefore it's not a very comfortable space. So somebody who, in the face of all that ideological hegemony from the other side, managed to stay put and then became a Lok Sabha MP from that state. It says a lot about his political acumen, his ideological alignment with the Sangh, and therefore makes him the perfect candidate.
Yeah, in fact, all of you should probably go back and read Nistula's story, where she has mentioned in greater detail about Mr. Radhakrishnan's profile, where he was the Tirupur RSS chief at one point. He was also the state president of Tamil Nadu. So obviously, there are several political implications. But before we go to Tamil Nadu and the greater political implications, let's stick to Parliament for now, because Rajya Sabha, I cover Rajya Sabha, and my only hope here is that he is somebody who is very polite and his voice isn't grating, because it's very difficult to have a chairperson who is always sort of butting in and breaking various speeches, and that could get really problematic for everyone on the floor. But managing Rajya Sabha is a tricky business, because the opposition the BJP does not have a neat majority of its own in Rajya Sabha. It keeps varying. It is close to they're close to 100 odd seats there. And how important, Nisla, do you think it was to get somebody who's even tempered and who can take everyone together?
So I'll tell you a little anecdote. Let me put it this way. I think that will clarify what the government was thinking. Uh, so this is before Mr. Radhakrishnan's name was announced. I had gone to Rashtrapati Bhavan on 15th of August for the customary at-home high tea that is hosted by the President of India. Uh, Most of the ministers who are in Delhi do make it to that event. You have the defense secretary, the three armed forces chiefs, a lot of the glitterati of this imperial city that we call Delhi. And we were there as part of the media contingent, and I managed to speak to one union minister who is very much one of the backroom political managers deployed by the government, especially during parliament. And as is our wont as journalists, I asked him, so who are you making the vice president? And he said, look, I can't tell you any names because I also don't know, but certainly in terms of characteristics, we should be very careful this time. The vice president's position, it's a Garima ka position, hai. It's an office of dignity. You are vice president first, and by virtue of being the vice president, you are chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. You don't first get somebody looking at somebody who can run the Rajya Sabha and then make that person a vice president. So that was a very important distinction that was being made, that this particular vice president will actually then go back to the way vice presidents used to be. Mr. Thankar, Shobhana, you know it better than anybody, used to spend a lot of time in the chair.
Yeah.
Whereas previous vice presidents, including Mr. Venkaiah Naidu and, Mr. Hamid Ansari, before that, Mr. Shekhawat, we all have seen they would come in the morning, sit for about an hour, do some, meet people, whoever wanted to meet them, or during the session, every time. A lot of MPs do want to meet the chairperson. They have some work or the other, or they just want to call on. So you sit with them, you chat them up, you have tea, you find out what the MPs are talking about, and then go off. And then only if there is a very important bill to be passed, you go there when the prime minister is about to speak or the minister in question is about to respond to the debate, and then you go through the division. Sometimes you don't even do that if they're not that important as bills. So I have a feeling that this time Mr. Radhakrishnan will be told that you should go back to the older template of how vice presidents are as chairpersons. Mr. Dhankar had the unfortunate distinction of being the only chairperson of the Rajya Sabha against whom an impeachment motion was brought. An impeachment notice was sought to be admitted by the opposition. That, of course, didn't happen, but it wasn't a very good look. And in fact, he didn't feel very supported by the government at that time. Not a single minister spoke out openly in his favor. So that was also one of the reasons why there was a souring of relationship between him and the government. So the government this time would want to go actually by the book when it comes to the running of the Rajya Sabha. Again, I'll go back to the words of that minister. He said, "ये पहले आप उपराष्ट्रपति चुनते हैं, first to select a person who will grace the dignity of that position, who will then also run the house." So that dignity has to be brought in to run the house as well.
To
So
basically provide the quiet
much,
strength and
much less partisanship is what I'm trying
yeah,
to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also to provide the quiet strength to stay in the background and step in only when
Only
necessary.
when required, and therefore that presence has that much more value, or weight.
Exactly. Yeah, you preserve your latent force, being a latent force in the
Right.
government. Now, before we go on to the next question, I just wanted to put in a word. September 9th is the vice presidential polls, and as far as the numbers are concerned, the NDA is because all the allies have endorsed Mr. Radhakrishnan. In fact, wholeheartedly, TDP and JDU lined up to welcome him, to felicitate him. The numbers are stacked in favor of the NDA. The question, however, is what will be the margin of his victory? The opposition is aiming to reduce that margin. We know the electorate is entirely made of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha MPs, and we know that for the first time in since the Narendra Modi government came to power, the margin will be far narrower than in the last two elections that this government has seen. In fact, in case of Mr. Dhankar, the margin was one of the highest that this country has seen in vice presidential polls. The the vote difference in votes is roughly about 120 odd seats. However, the opposition is trying to make it further narrow. Uh, uh, and that remains to be seen how they will manage to do so, because they are reaching out to several parties like Biju Janata Dal, who have a presence in Rajya Sabha. And because Biju Janata Dal patriarch and the president Naveen Patnaik is in hospital, they do not have a clarity as of now. But the more important question in this case is, Nistula, what does it mean for Tamil Nadu to have C.P. Radhakrishnan as the vice presidential candidate, since the government is projecting it as a case of a Tamil pride, and in fact they tried to sort of pressure the DMK also to sort of give in. The opposition nearly gave into that pressure, and they were also planning to field a Tamilian candidate as we had reported, Mailaswamy Annadurai, the former ISRO director that DMK had suggested. But eventually, it was the opposition decided that you cannot be reactive to the government and you need to set a separate narrative. But on Nistula, over to you. Do tell us, what does it
Okay,
mean
the
for
most
Tamil
obvious thing, Shobna, is that elections are due early next year in Tamil Nadu, assembly elections. BJP has already announced its alliance with the AIDMK. Mr. Radhakrishnan, of course, is a Tamilian, and he comes from the Gaundar OBC community, so he's not a Tamil Brahmin. So the BJP has escaped the charge that it is a very Brahminical outfit. They said, no, we have leaders from other communities as well, and who do occupy high position in our system. That is one very obvious sort of message to give. In fact, BJP has been under attack. The government also has been under attack in terms of the language and charges of Hindi imposition that is constantly put on them by the opposition, especially the DMK and other South Indian regional outfits who are not with the NDA. So therefore, this is also another kind of a response to that particular allegation. Uh, it's very obvious that the BJP does want to expand. There are a lot of areas where it has expanded, but the South actually remains a bit of a closed situation. That to the extreme south, that is both Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Although in Kerala, the BJP managed to win a seat this time in the Lok Sabha, but in Tamil Nadu, it didn't manage even that. So that is, of course, another very, very clear signal that the BJP is sending towards the south of the country, and also a kind of a boost to its own alliance in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, and obviously, even in Coimbatore, the very seat that CP Radhakrishnan won twice in the past. Nisula, before this live started, you were telling me this anecdote about LK Advani and CP Radhakrishnan's first
Yes, that was in
election.
1998, and this Mr. Advani himself had told me one day he was in a chatty mood. We had gone to see him, a bunch of us had gone to see him in his parliamentary party office. He was the chairperson of the BJP's parliamentary party. And Sushma Swaraj used to be the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha at that time, with Arun Jaitley as the LP in Rajya Sabha. So we had gone to meet Advani ji, and he told us about something had happened at that time with regard to the court case. And, I think one of the Coimbatore blast accused was being given some special treatment in jail, or some story had come out. And so again, this chat talk to, got to the Coimbatore blast, which was a blast at this public meeting that had been called for Mr. Radhakrishnan's candidature in the Lok Sabha elections there. 58 people had died in that. And Advaniji, in fact, said that it was a late arrival of a camera unit from one of the TV wire services. That basically became the reason why he escaped, because they were to come and record something, and then he was supposed to go to the public meeting. They came a little late. Something happened, so they came a little late, and before he could start off, then he heard that this blast had taken place. So this was an anecdote that he had told me and a bunch of journalists who had crowded into his room at that time. And Mr. Radhakrishnan has a long history with the BJP. As I told you, he joined the RSS as a 16-year-old, was in the Jansangh, ABVP, the student wing of the RSS, then with the BJP for many years. He was the party president. And in fact, he wanted to contest further for the 2024, and that particular seat, Coimbatore, because it has a lot of industry and textile industry, etc., is a good seat for anybody from the BJP. There are two good seats in Tamil Nadu for BJP people. One is, of course, Kanyakumari, and the other is Coimbatore. And BJP has had representation from there in various Lok Sabhas. But this time around, I think the BJP was also trying to do a generational shift. So both Mr. La Ganeshan, who passed away recently, and Mr. Radhakrishnan was sent to Raj Bhavans in different parts of the country. And Annamalai was ushered in as the next big leader from Tamil Nadu. So I think Mr. Radhakrishnan being given this position is also a kind of a signal to its own party in Tamil Nadu that we're all together, and just because somebody is not now in active politics or was sent away to make place for somebody else doesn't mean that that's the end of what the system could provide for them. So
Yeah, and
that's also an important signal for the BJP to actually get together and fight, because it's not a very united house there at the moment.
yeah, also importantly because BJP's current dispensation in Tamil Nadu is known for its, like Annamalai is known for his very aggressive stance, and he was known to be outgoing and extremely flamboyant in his campaigning. And Mr. Radhakrishnan presents a contrast because he was known
Yeah,
as
he's
the
called
one.
the Vajpayee of Coimbatore, and
Yeah,
he's known
Vajpayee
as
of Coimbatore. So,
Ajat Shatru. He's affable. He cuts across
hmm,
the aisle politically, and he is, from the ground up. He's worked in that area as a Sangh Pracharak and as a political worker, and in fact, as a business person, entrepreneur as well. There was a particular yarn, apparently. He was the one who introduced it to Bangladesh, in terms of his business. When he was chairman of the Coir board, he did a lot to improve. There was a lot of improvement in the import or export of coir products from India at that time. So he's one of those people who is, hail fellow, well met, and pretty
hmm.
affable in terms across the party lines. So he does present a contrast, of course, to the current leadership. There are factions there at the moment. The exit of Mr. Radhakrishnan and Mr. Ganeshan was also to end factionalism there, but that didn't happen. So all of these, it's like an onion. You can keep looking for
And keep peeling the
different
layer.
things. And as I said in the beginning, CP Radhakrishnan checked all the right boxes. He was
Yeah,
governor in Jharkhand
yeah.
during the
He
very, very
also
problematic
he
time
also
when,
he also
when
presents a contrast to R.N. Ravi, the current governor, who is also in the sort
yeah,
of.
he could in that sense. But when he was in Jharkhand, there was a sealed report that had been sent on some particular case with regard to the chief minister that remained sealed to this date. And it was, I think, CP Radhakrishnan's dexterity in terms of just managing things, that it didn't become a bigger issue than it finally did. He also spoke up on issues that were close to the Sangh. uh, although he took out a Rath Yatra and a Padyatra in terms of, for a uniform civil code. When this issue was seriously discussed, this was when he was Tamil Nadu president, but when this issue was seriously discussed under the Modi government, as governor of Jharkhand, he very openly said that no, tribal communities should be kept out of the ambit of the Uniform Civil Code. So there are a lot of these things that are associated with CP Radhakrishnan. He is a political brain, and has worked in a difficult political terrain for his party. And the BJP is really hoping, and the government is really hoping, there will be a problem-free tenure.
Yeah, interesting. And so we've concluded. We've reached the conclusion. But before I let you go, another of the buzz from the Parliament's corridor is that by picking a RSS man for the vice presidential poll, the BJP has sort of freed itself to pick their own person to lead the party instead of. Do you
No, I
believe
had
this?
already said that this was also an appeasement of the RSS, which is a bit, the relationship is a bit soured between BJP and the RSS. But you have to understand the nature of the differences that are cropping up at the moment. There is no ideological problem
Yeah.
between the RSS and the BJP. All right. There are lots of, this is the first government that has actually done a lot on the core issues held dear by the
Yeah.
RSS, which is the abrogation of Article 370, granting special status to Jammu and Kashmir, the construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya through legal means, and for Uniform Civil Code also, they have come up with a little byway of getting it done, which is state governments where the BJP is in power. So that is not an issue. issue is organizationally, where RSS wants a little more say in who gets to be chief minister, who gets to be appointed where in terms of the organizational structure. They want some of their people to populate it. That fight, I'm afraid, Shobna, will still be going on for some time. I don't think it's going to be resolved by a constitutional position being offered to an old RSS man. I don't think that's going to happen because substantively, the BJP's national president is a very powerful position. And
Correct.
it is not something that the RSS is going to give up on so soon, especially after they have been hugely instrumental in the BJP's thumping victories in Maharashtra and Haryana and even in Delhi. So they're not going to do that. What it does is, as far as the BJP national president's election is concerned, that it's very unlikely that we will see any South Indian becoming the party president. I think that
Yes, it's
quota has been
yeah.
fulfilled of a South Indian person getting something out of the system. So, well, you've got a South Indian vice president. So, I think the BJP national president may be somebody else from some other part of the
Interesting. So, as reporters, we are always sort of playing Wordle, where we have eliminated a few letters, and we will
country.
know the word finally
No,
in
I've
maybe
completely given up. I neither play Wordle nor do I do this. Who's being going to become the new BJP president? Because, frankly, everybody's name has been uh,
discussed.
tried and
So,
discarded. And I feel sorry for the people whose names have already come out because that means that their chance of succeeding is that much less.
yeah.
So I think we should just wait.
On that note, I think we'll say goodbye to you for now, and we'll be back with something more pressing and urgent that needs to be discussed. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
It's
much
goodbye
for
from me,
watching.
Shobna.
I mean, Nistula Hebbar, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.